Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing having a great week. I'm not doing, that's weird. Okay, well, let's start over. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are having fun. I hope you all are excited. We are inching our way. Right now it says T minus 3 weeks. I think we're about 3 weeks this coming from 3 weeks from this Friday. I think we might be having the start of the regular season. Hello. Oh, goodness. All right. So we are excited. We're starting here with episode number 2, season 2 of our show, Minor League Fights and Insights. So welcome to that. All right. So I've got myself here a couple of buds. I've got Daniel Wright. Good evening, Daniel. How are you tonight?
Good evening, Axel. I'm so excited to go through all the news that we got this week. It seems like it was a big plethora of news just yesterday, and that we all need to digest before we get into the minor leagues.
Yes, we have that coming up. And Nathaniel, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, good. I'm glad to be back. I missed you guys, so
Miss you
I'm ready
too.
to get rolling.
Absolutely. You've been doing a nice stint over there with Queen City. What is it? The Why am I blanking on it? The Your show.
Queen City Corsairs.
The show. The Nest. What is
Oh,
it?
oh yeah, the Crow's Nest. The
Crow's
Crow's
Nest. I'm
Nest.
like, it's a C, but it's not Corsairs. It's not a city. It's not a queen. It's another Crow's Nest. Cool. Welcome back. Great to have you. So yeah, we're set to talk tonight a little bit about things that have been happening. I will start off with some of that news. So yeah, if anybody watching hasn't heard yet, I believe the announcement went out on, was it yesterday, and then some more today, or was it Monday? I can't remember. The days are blurring
I,
for me.
I think most news came out yesterday because Monday they had a football game that night.
Oh yes, okay. So last night, yesterday, the news that the convention is heading to Vegas. That's right, Vegas, baby. Let's go. Yeah, so 2022 SFL convention face to face. They did it last summer. Last summer was around Houston, Texas, I believe, was the area in early August, if I remember right. So this year, it's going to be July 10th through the 12th. That's a Sunday through a Tuesday. They're adjusting it because that way you guys get a better deal for hotel rates and things. You can see Cam, the commissioner, was able to secure exclusive $80 hotel rates. That's right. In Vegas, $80 a night. Um, so really excited about that. Vegas is usually a pretty easy place. I'd say more on the cheaper side of places to travel to and from. Easy to get plane tickets to and from there as well. So, Daniel, what are your thoughts on that so far?
So I didn't get to participate in the last convention. Unfortunately, I got to watch the stream version with people cheering galore while they watch their favorite games in the Hall of Fame. It's definitely a good thing to watch. I'm sure it's even better to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, with it being in Vegas, it's actually interesting because you got a whole bunch of different activities you could do besides just going to the convention, right? You pretty much got a whole strip that you really want to do. $8 hotel rate. I understand why it's Sunday through Tuesday to make it cheaper on everyone. Uh, I just don't know if I could possibly make it because that is so far west compared to where I'm to.
You are
It's gonna be a
almost,
bit of a tough.
you're so far east, you could almost be British.
Pretty much, yeah. We still follow all the British laws here.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm hoping to make it. We'll see if I can get out, secure the time off of work, and things like that. Nathaniel, are you planning on going? Are you thinking about going?
I wish I could go. Maybe sometime in the future I'll catch one, but it's just really hard with me having all 4 kids at one time in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I know the wife would probably want to go. It'd be fun for us. But for me to drag her to something I'm considered a nerd on right now, she probably wouldn't enjoy the whole thing. But and I don't think I could keep the kids settled down enough. But like I said, just having 4 of them and us, it'd be a hassle. But I do look forward to eventually getting to do it.
Yeah, and we know it's it's not always able. Everybody is not always able to attend them. So those that do, it's great meeting up. For those that can't, again, like Daniel said, a lot of times there's the webcam sitting there. Also, you can tune in pretty much all day during the day, catching people there, almost like you're a fly on the wall during that as well. I'm excited. I'm bummed that I wasn't able to go last year. It overlapped a annual vacation that I have with my family. We'll see if I can make it this year. My birthday is a couple days after the convention ends, so maybe stretch it out. We'll see if what work it says with me being taking another week off. So yeah, that's big news. Hope you all of you watching try to make it. Try to check it out. See if you can swing it. I know that from not personal experience, but from others, it's not to be missed. So the next big news that was released, in addition to this as well, is that there's going to be 28 teams in season 19 coming up in the kickoff in July when that happens. So right now in the pros, there's 24 teams, six divisions of 4 teams each. So with this a little nugget here coming in one of the videos that was released last night, 28 teams showing right there. I had to mark it with a little blue that it's true. It's coming out. At least it should be. I haven't heard anything else yet from that, but that means that there will be 4 new teams, expansion teams coming for the pros this next season. So our viewership traditionally is minor league players, because this is minor league fights and insights. It's for you guys. So I wanted to find out, us talking, what would that mean for minor league players? I can think of more spots, right, Daniel?
Yeah. So with 4 new teams, that means they got to fill out the roster. So that's another 20, 23 or 21 odd people that you have to fill, minus the owners themselves, who if they got players, things like that. But it also means there could be spots above just being players. There's more room to scout. More people need coordinators. If this is the time that if you want to actually do more in the league, this is where you want to do it right now. 4 new teams. We already know 4 public bids. We don't know about any private bids as of now. So we know about the Indy Ramblers, the Seattle Nemesis, Calgary, and of course the Legends, the Minnesota. So with those 4 bids plus whatever's private bid, only 4 of them is going to get in. So when we'll figure it out, who knows? Hopefully soon. I would love to know who I'm potentially playing against, or who wants to bring me over on their side. I would love to know it.
Mm-hmm. Nathaniel, what are your thoughts on 4 new teams coming in for next season?
I agree with what it's already been said. The opportunity. I mean, people are going to be moving positions. There's people on teams now that have placed bids that are, job openings are going to be available for people to hop in if they want to try to experience that and learn more, or experience something on a new team. The amount of room that it's going to open up for the minors to have some new faces in here, and the availability to apply for a position that like there'll be more quarterback slots. You can get more quarterbacks in here and stuff like that. So I think it's great. I wish I could see the whole list, like y'all said, about what all teams have been bid placed. But I do kind of like the mystery part of it, because you never know if there's going to be, out of the 4 teams that we know about, if only 2 will make it, and you're going to have 2 surprises that pop up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like it. I kind of like the mystery reveal part of it. I wish the best for the people that put the bids out, and good luck with it.
Cool. Yeah, I like you said, Nathaniel, the idea of with these 4 new teams, whether whether they all 4 of them draft new rookie quarterbacks or running backs, or pretty much any of those any players, any of those 23 players on their roster, or if they free agency bring them over, that's going to open up more places all across the league. And people have been speculating that this free agency and then the draft is going to be some crazy stuff. So it's a lot of fun for a lot of people to be able to put together teams like that. So cool. All right, so that's sort of what does it mean for you, and I'm sure we'll learn more as the weeks go by, as we get closer and closer to countdown for when that reveal happens.
Uh, okay, before you go there,
Yeah.
there's a very good question in the chat. How long
Okay.
should you be in the league before you try to be a scout? And the answer to that is whenever you want, as quick as possible, or as long as you want, whatever you're more comfortable with. I actually got a good story with that because he took up scouting as soon as he could.
Who did?
You did, didn't you? You only
Uh,
had one minor league
what minor
season.
league team? Yeah, exactly. I was sort of towards the middle of the season, I guess. But yeah, as soon as possible. Right now, is a great time to learn and practice. For if you're part of a minor league team, the value of scouting will happen as soon as week one games get done. As soon as the 000s happen, you've got a game to scout now and prepare for the next week. You can't really do much scouting in preparation for week one because the whole well, for the minor leagues, we've had a lot of changeover with head coaches and off coordinators and things like that. So each time that happens, you're going to get a different game plan than what they had the previous year. Similarly, even if you didn't change coaching or coordinators, um, they may have a completely different game plan based on a brand new roster as well. So going into week one, I think that's pretty much the same it is in the pros as well. Going into what do we want to start off with to get ourselves on the right foot? What do we assume that the other team we're playing might come at us with, and making sort of our best guess there. Um, yeah, and then after that,
To
then
go
you've
along
got
with what Daniel said, scouting. You don't have to be in the league a certain amount of time to do stats or anything like that. Don't be afraid to get your name out there. Don't be afraid to hop on shows. Me, I was here less than what a month when I was in the minors and hopped on here with you and with AJ. Just you never know what opportunity is going to open itself up to you by throwing your name out there or making yourself known. So don't be afraid to step up and try to do anything. Um, Everybody's going to fall or fail on something, but that's how you learn. And nobody's going to knock you in this league for attempting to try or do anything. Everybody's here to help you. There's more than enough people. Axel, anybody will hop in and teach you how to do something. He makes the shows on it, to show you how to scout. You did that last season.
Yep, September, October, something like that. Yeah, and so that's recorded out on our YouTube. You can go check that out as a way to sort of a primer to understand, get you all the tools. You don't even need the game. We've got there's a resource out there on a Google Drive that has all the plays that you sort of need to do the scouting. So I walk you through that in that example. But there's no, I think, like you were both saying, the hunger, that passion shows through and shines brightly more so than how your player even plays. I feel that hunger and passion is really important, and being able to get along and share in the fun that is the SFL. So yeah.
Yep. And before we go to our next topic, there is another question for Nathaniel Diggs, especially. Where would you like to see an expansion team?
Where would I like to see an expansion team?
Yeah.
Chicago, of course.
All right. Is that because you're a Bears fan?
Yeah, all my teams were Chicago, man. I got that Chicago love.
Cool. All right. So yeah, we're gonna take the rest of the time here to sort of go through the teams, and we're gonna do that for next week and the week after as well, all in preparation for the big kickoff coming. So we're sort of speculating and seeing who's on the different teams. This week we're gonna start off with San Jose, Ottawa, and if we have time, Tacoma as well. So tonight we'll start off with the flight. So here we've got, took a little screenshot of the individuals in the roster on the portal, so we can see the breakdown there. And then we've also got a list on the left of the two-way players that are coming back from last season. So yeah, they've got a really solid quarterback at with Jordan Sipe returning, I believe, this year from last year as a silver coming in, which is really cool. And then we see a couple other bronzes as well. But really, they've got a really nice team coming in. I remember watching their game, and they were pretty hard nosed as well on the defense, especially. Daniel, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
So last season they struggled a little bit, and there's a reason for that, right? Because they were one of the best teams 2 seasons ago, and they lost all their players. They got drafted, so that's just the ebb and flow of the way the league goes. But now you got a returning quarterback, second year, JG Bacon, two-way players coming back again. A couple young rooks at wide receivers, but you got DJ Bandit coming back, and thing to note is they got two free safeties and two strong safeties. So that secondary is going to be pretty lethal.
Nathaniel, any thoughts on this team so far?
The thoughts with San Jose Flight, what I'd like to see from them this season, like y'all said, with the returning players this year, um, is them able to get that run game going. Last year they were, pass heavy. They got another year under Bacon, and hopefully, like I said, they can get the run game going a little bit more and become more two dimensional. The defense, like you all said, they've got the players there to make an impact, and we've seen that impact. So that's going to be the big thing for me is seeing if they can get that run.
No, I'd agree that. So I think if I remember right, JC Bacon came in maybe not quite halfway through the season. Maybe it was like 2 or 3 weeks into the season. Similarly with Taranio Rivera at fullback as well. Both of them were mid-season acquisitions or mid-season additions to their team, and now, like you said, they have had a full season to progress and things. And Bacon out in the pros, he's been making a name for himself a little bit, running behind Jason Williams. Um, I think, like you said, big things for that team. I think Sam Blotner coming over from CHS during the pros here in the minors should be able to be a pretty standout free safety back there.
The other thing too is he'll have a little bit more time to shine. Bacon will, with only being one of the four horsemen coming back. That's going to give a lot of these guys that kind of went under the radar last season some of that recognition.
Totally agree.
The only thing I have to add is look at Brian James, the strong safety, 64 already. And as you know, that's pretty high for a safety spot coming back for just another season.
Absolutely. There's going to be one tough secondary. So again, we've got Sam Blotner, we've got Brian James, like you were just mentioned, Peter Warbonnen out there, and then Mr. KJ Elisho over there too, and Willie Stone rounding out that secondary. Should be a fun time. We've got Adam Chance in the inside linebacker, Jacob DeBall. I remember having a pretty decent game. I think he may have gotten a sack or two during the preseason game. Was fun to watch. So yeah, very cool. All right, so our next team then is Ottawa. So we'll pull that up. So we've got Ottawa here. Oops. Let's see. So we've got Cyrus Jive here at quarterback, Dwayne Salmons at running back. He's a balanced back, fresh back this season. Similarly, some really nice individuals. Amar Bryant Jr. coming back again for another season. We've got Terrence Pearson, a solid cornerback, coming in as well. Juan Mississippi, one of Daniel's favorite players, from spending time with Denver right now, I believe. Dusty Rourke is currently playing with CHS Charleston out there in the pros, and Gus Scott. I can't remember where he's playing right now. Do you guys remember or no?
Won't be able to tell you off the top of my head where wide receivers go.
What are your thoughts on this team so far, Daniel?
Thank you, Juan Mississippi. Says Denver for Gus Scott.
Okay.
So with this team, it kind of hurts that one of their wide receivers got taken and moved up to the pros. So now we got pretty much a fresh wide receiver, maybe with one or two progressions on his belt. Their secondary, once again, pretty good. Only one strong safety, not two strong safeties. I don't know what we're gonna do. We had the matriarch Scar Patterson last season throwing, and they were still struggling. And now you got Jive in there, but you got no running game, right? The running game is new. I think they're gonna struggle offensively. It's gonna be up to the defense to try and keep them in games, I think.
What are your thoughts, Nathaniel?
Um, last season I gave a lot of love to Ottawa and said they would turn it around, and I kind of got let down a little bit. But I think they can. I'm gonna do it again. I think they can turn it around. It's gonna
I'm
be
a
a little bit of a
Canadian
slow
boy, and I'm not
pace.
saying they're gonna turn it around.
Uh, they last year they finished towards the bottom with passing yards allowed and rushing yards allowed. So with the defense being progressed now, I hope that can make a difference. And last year, I mean, they were very, very one-dimensional with the pass. They really need to get this run game going. I mean, last year they only averaged 56 rushing yards a game. So they really need to work on that. And if they can find something, um, hopefully the pro experience with Gus and Dusty and all those. I don't want to give Gus too much love because I play him this week. So uh, hopefully they can get that working. And like I said, defense step up. Defense really stop the pass because they got smoked on the pass last year. Defense handle the run and get something going where they can be more of a balanced team. Um, and I think they'll do okay.
Mhm. Jenny, it looks like you had a correction.
Yeah, Gus Scott is in DC, not in Denver. Thank
Gotcha.
you, Juan,
Oh, okay.
Mississippi.
All
You're
right.
still one of my favorite names.
Well, he beat me already, so that's okay.
Yeah, this team is gonna have to rely on their defense to get things going. Their offense gotta be sneaky, I think. They gotta get points when they don't expect it, like a few sneak plays, maybe a long bomb that gets them a couple of points. But this is gonna be a defense heavy team, which is something we haven't really seen 2 seasons ago, because they all went offense. Didn't Scar Patterson the previous season try to go balls to the wall with it? But if this defense can turn around and do some stuff, I say they'll be middle of the pack, maybe looking for a chance to play.
And so I was looked at, and we'll go back actually to the flight in a moment too, as well. Talking about like the front office coaching individuals for the different teams. So Ottawa is headed up by Javier Vasquez. And along with, I have firsthand connection with him as well. Stefan Forge over at San Diego, had previously been doing the defensive coordinating over there, and they've been working on stuff already, heading into getting prepared for the season. Um, and with the sort of the shakeups that we've been seeing with some of the defenses in the other teams, this offense could be poised for something great. Again, it's going to be dependent on their game plan and how fast they can adjust to either how well they're doing and continue to stay ahead of the curve, or to adjust if they don't do well on a first week, second week outing. Can they adjust to get things back into the straight line and get into a winning performance? They have a lot of the tools, with having the fullback there, and a balance back is, may not be a spinny finesse back, but they do really well as well. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But again, they the front office probably learned a lot from last year, and they probably learned during the pro season as well, and coming into this next season, that hopefully they'll be able to put to use some of the things that they might have learned. Uh, and yeah, they're hungry for a win, or hungry for a solid start this season. So
That's a great point. Talking about looking at what some of these guys have done and learning, especially with these two-way players, being able to see how the pros used them, if they were more effective in a certain slant or in certain plays, and trying to implement that into the minor season. Maximize the use of your wide receiver, tight end, or whoever you got coming back.
mhm. That's a great call out. So I'm going to bring back the flight so we can. So the flight is being head coached by Art Vandelay, who went last season or last off season from Portland to Florida, doing having brand new team to head coach, having some ups and downs over there. They had a pretty big win against Tulsa last weekend. Sorry about that, Daniel, but
It's okay. We all understood what happened.
yeah. So he's put together. I think Greg Soto has joined his team. I think as offensive coordinator. I'm going to go back to the information. If anybody is looking for this information, you can go to the information tab in the SFL server. San Jose. Yep, Art Vandelay, Greg the Cuban Missile Soto as offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator is James Walters in Vancouver. And they have a small handful of individuals doing scouting for them as well. So again, I know Art tends to be a very hard-nosed, get in the dirt defensive type of coordinator and head coach, and really trying to play towards the benefits of their team and versus trying to force a team or players into a game plan. He creates a game plan based on the team that he has, players that he has, which I really respect. So knowing that and the team that they've got, I think Greg Soto is a new acquisition or brought in just recently on offense for the San Jose flight. So I think they might be trying to leverage some things. He comes over from LSG, Lone Star, and they have a lot of experience with running backs, with Ike McBride, that kind of thing. So, and they've been a pretty solid powerhouse in offense this year so far. So we'll see again how much they can take and leverage and put forth into this team. Is still to be seen, but that's exactly what the intent is to do, right? With these minor league teams, especially for the coaches that are coming from the pros to coach in the minors. It's all about learning. It's all about applying what you know to the teams here. So yeah, and then
the biggest point I want to put out is we've seen the ebb and flows, right? Last season was all about the offense. This season is going to be more about defensive players because of all the pickups that they did this season or last season in the draft. So what we're seeing with the first two teams is both teams are going to be more defensive oriented than what they were previous season. And it's minus one team in particular. We're not doing right now. We'll do way later. I think that's the way we're going to see teams develop in the minor leagues this season.
No, I agree. And in season 4, that between season 3 and season 4, it was sort of the opposite. A lot of the remaining offensive players were left coming into season 4, and a lot of the defensive players were taken in the postseason 3 draft, and that rebuilding of the defense. And I think we're seeing the reward of that rebuilding of the defense here, reaping that reward. But we see the fall of the decimation of the offensive players being taken, but with the two-way players able to stay, except really quarterbacks that left. Ultimately, because they are out starting every single game, they don't get two ways. So, all right. So our final team so far this tonight to look. Oh, here we go. Wrong thing. There we go. The Grizzlies. That's what I was trying to pull up. The Grizzlies. Let's see. All right. So the Grizzlies, they've got a brand new, like literally brand new starting out quarterback. Switching over, I can't remember what position Ty had played before, but he was hoping for a quarterback position. And so when Bear, one of Daniel's favorite named players.
My sad beer is gone.
When he missed progressions to a certain point, 4 weeks, I believe, is what it is right now. If you miss those, you get released. He was released, opened up the spot, and Ty sort of leapt on it like someone leaping on a grenade. I mean, not in a bad way. Sorry, I mean that in a good way. Leaping on a cake, a birthday cake. That's better. All right. They have JB Elliott and Tina Queen, who is the wife of Doug Day. She had a really good game. Almost, I would say, outshining their star wide receiver Shane Kaufman as well. I feel like T had a better game in the preseason. Daniel.
Yeah, he was the standout in the Tacoma game that they had. 2 touchdowns, I want to say, she
I
got
think so.
in the preseason game. And best thing to note is they have an offensive lineman in Frank Burks, which might be able to open up the running backs situation as well. Their defense is not as stacked as the previous couple of teams. This is just more of a people that are here for 1 year, maybe a second year kind of thing. But they do have Shane Kaufman, returning two-way player, wide receiver, and he's brother in the corner situation. But I see a lot of white, not a lot of bronze, copper. Well, copper I've seen, but bronze and silver, I don't see a whole lot of that going around here.
Yeah, Nathaniel, what is your take on this?
I say it every time. I'm not for the bronze or the silver or the gold, or it don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean nothing. Everybody can have a good game. Everybody can play. A lot of people have that and don't play up to that level. But Tacoma was probably one of the more well balanced out of these teams we've went over today, and even in the minors last season, they didn't have a bad season. And with what you're saying about Queen, you're going to want somebody that's proven themselves, able to prove themselves, and hold up there and give you that 1-2 punch in the wide receiver. Kaufman's going to get a lot of attention, and now you know you got somebody there that can step up and make those plays. So I think the offensive lineman helps out, like Daniel was saying. If they can keep everything going, I think all they do is improve from last season. If they can, like I said, stay kind of balanced like they have been, all they did was improve with that wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I think, as wide receivers line up, the number one wide receiver goes against the number one cornerback. And even if there's a really solid star cornerback, they might just literally take Shane Kaufman out of the game. But you still have T to Queen over there, maybe going up against a fellow copper, or, someone maybe even hasn't progressed as much as she has. And being able to be nimble enough to get around. And that might have been the why we saw the results that we did in the preseason game. Was just because of maybe a mismatch between offense and defense there on for her and the covering cornerback. We see Orlando Grimm coming back for a second season. We saw him last season, and then they've got Christopher Dean coming as well. He's playing as a fullback out there. I want to say also.
It's all St. Louis. They're
all St. Louis.
bringing St. Louis back.
That's pretty much because all three of those are playing at St. Louis. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I like to think, I want to say, and maybe you guys can, either you share this or you don't really care either way. I feel like a lower quarterback, if you have a solid receiving crew, they can sort of raise the quarterback's playing level because they're able to go out there and catch and get into the places that they need to, even if there's some errant passes here or there. Shane Kaufman being a gold, having that breakout or that ability in his stats or whatever, should be able to negate any sort of error throws, maybe that a fresh tie quarterback is coming out and maybe throwing. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. On a good wide receivers can make a bronze or a copper quarterback play better or look better.
So I will agree with that, except last season they had all the weapons in Arsenal. They were the favorites going into last season, and they didn't even make playoffs. Now you're looking at a team that's, I want to say, almost rebuilding in a sense. But I know there's no such thing as a rebuild in the minor leagues. But this is as close as you're going to get to a rebuild season. And I hope they're hungry. But I'm a Tacoma guy. I'll say it right now. I think this team is going to struggle. They let in a lot of points last season on the defense. And their defense still looks like it's going to struggle a little bit.
Horse and donkey from where?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, looking at their coaching, so head coach Jalen Wells returns, similar with offensive coordinator Ezekiel Love. It appears that he's returning as well. They do bring in at defensive coordinator Zach Haldorf, again from my alma mater of San Diego Mavericks, coming over and doing defense, and then Johnny Reno returning as a scout from the previous 3 seasons, being quarterback there. So we'll see how, again, if their game plans change, if they've learned things, and if they are able to apply it, and if it shows up on the field.
Yeah, I hope Reno's not scouting how to throw interceptions while he's down there in the minor leagues.
Probably not. I think he's doing what he needs to do, I bet. So yeah, so again, the the offense, I feel, has enough to do what they need to do if they can get the right game plan. So again, it's up to them to figure that out. What's the right game plan for this team? Again, each season is going to be a different makeup. So yeah. All right.
I'm anxious to see how Ty does. I'm excited, and not just him, but just in general, who's going to step up and make a name for themselves this season. It's going to be exciting with a lot of these guys that were really highly rated that got drafted and aren't coming back, with the exception of Squarebush, on the 2-way. But it's opened a lot of things up for a lot of people, and it's going to be crazy. Last season was crazy, but I think this will be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to go on that point, because we got 4 new teams, that's at least 4 new quarterbacks and 4 new running backs that a team needs, right? So we're looking at these high price spots that normally wouldn't get a potential draft pick. Uh, Now we know for sure, at the very least, unless people from free agency comes in, we're getting at least 4 spots. At the very least, unless free agency dictates changes that. So a lot of people are going to be watching. A lot of eyes are going to be on the minor league this season, and I can't wait for it.
So we just talked about 3 of the teams, 3 of the 8, and so I was just cycling through. So yeah, we've got Tacoma here up already, and then looking here at the Cavalry, and then finally at the Flight. Do you guys have, if you were to put some rankings on them, if it was these 3 in there, which one do you think has the highest chance to perform the best, and which one do you think would be at the bottom or lower of this group of 3? Curious, Daniel, do you have a
Oh,
take?
I don't want people to hurt me already because I know people were upset about the grind by gears with Tacoma last season. Uh, so if I have to rate right now just these 3 teams,
Yeah,
uh, can you go back to Ottawa real quick so I can look
I
at?
can. Yep.
I think because of Bacon, even though I do like the secondary in Ottawa, I think I am gonna go Flight Cav Tacoma. Like Mr. Racing over there has specified himself. Only specified because of the return of Bacon. Defense is pretty similar in Ottawa and Flight, and I'm afraid Tacoma. To me they look like they're gonna struggle a bit against other teams.
Nathaniel, what are your thoughts on if you had to rank any of these 3 in an order? Again, this is not in the larger order of the 8 or anything, but just what ones do you think?
Just out of the 3, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go San Jose, and then switch it up and do Tacoma, and then Ottawa. Only because I don't know if Ottawa's going to be able to turn it around all the way from what they did last year, and Tacoma was already a more balanced team coming into the season and getting new players. Now the quarterback's unproven, but they have the talent coming back to help. So I think I'm gonna stick with that. Knight, Grizzlies, and then Cavalry.
Gotcha. So my thoughts are, I'm gonna go with Cavalry. just edging out. So I agree. I think both of you talked about, or specifically, I know Danny, you had mentioned Bacon being there. I think he's going to really help this team, the Flights, have a really balanced offense. I think he's going to be able to because it's hard to if you're just constantly throwing and if you're not finding success in that, you need to rely on your run game. And I think the Flight are going to have a pretty solid run game that to rely back on, and then be able to. When they need to throw it out there. But I think Ottawa is going to come in and steal the show, just upset them a little bit more with their defense. I feel like their defense is going to be just that little bit better, and I think that's going to edge them out in my mind. Tacoma, I think, is again, it's a rebuilding year. I think they're exploring what this might look like, and more power to them. I want to see everybody. I obviously, much like both of you, I want to see all the teams succeed and every player have their spot in the spot, their shot in the spotlight, and things. But I think for me, it goes Ottawa, Flight, and then the Grizzlies. Any reactions?
And since we're ranking in our Discord, guys, for people that might have not done it yet, you can pick your team to win already from the start. I haven't picked yet. I usually pick dark horse teams, and my dark horse last season with the Navigators, so I don't want to pick them again because I don't. Sure, they're the favorites. I'm just gonna put it out there. The Navigators right now look like they might be the favorites.
We saw how that played out last season with everybody making big predictions. I picked, my Lynx to win the whole thing, and thank God we did. It was an experience. But I'm gonna pick them to go back to back. I'm gonna make my pick early and just stick, with the Madison love, and hopefully I can grow. And I still haven't got my winning thing from you, Axel.
I gotta figure out what a good prize is. If you guys want to help me figure that out, we can do whatever it should be for last year, and then do a similar thing. It'd be great to be able to give out a prize, and I can help fund or figure that out. If you all figure out a good prize is, we'll try to make it happen. So.
Not getting out of a pick here, Axel. We gotta hear who you picking.
Being at Madison, I'm gonna try my hardest to get us to win. I feel like we've got a really solid defense. We have 2 returning wide receivers we can use. Similarly, or two-way wide receivers that we're going to be using. We have a second-year quarterback in Xander Moon. I think he's more solid than his gameplay play showed in the preseason. Similarly, we're going to make full use of our Marcus Duncan running back there as well. And we have an offensive lineman. We also have a really tall tight end. I love being able to use the tight end. We do not have a fullback, but maybe if we get others to join and someone wants to join as a fullback, it'll be maybe they'll appear in the Madison locker room. That would be great. But I think
I watched the preseason game. Talking about, I watched the preseason game. It reminded me a lot of how we were last season. It took the offense a while to get rolling, and the defense steps up. So playing the same way, I mean, there's a chance. You're never out of it.
Yeah, and we've got Jaden Swift back there for our defense. So Daniel knows him well, putting him into places to win. So
well, I like to think I'm the poster boy this season of stats don't matter as a bronze free safety that's leading safeties and tackles, got 8 interceptions, 2 return touchdowns. So I like to think that Swift has a lot to do with that.
Mm-hmm. I think we'll get to Madison in future weeks. Definitely. I gotta do that. But yes, as Daniel said, head over to if someone wants to put !Discord in the chat, that'll give you the link to join our Discord. If you're not already joined, over there's hashtag season 5 pre-kickoff prediction, I think is what it's called, is a little channel. Put in your prediction of who you think is going to win. We're going to lock that right before the kickoff happens in week 1. So that nobody can go in and change their prediction, and we'll take a look at as we progress. We can go back, during the 8 games of the season, hit it up in week 4, week 5, see how we're doing, how things are stacking up, and things, and that should be a lot of fun. If anybody has any ideas for prizes, feel free to drop us information about that as well. And yeah, want to also give a little shout out to we don't have any players, any interviews on tonight, pretty much because nobody reached out. We want to remind you, if you want to be on, reach out to us. We've got one slot open to next week. We already currently have John Fowler from Madison reach out saying he wants to be on, so he will be on next week in outside linebacker for Madison. So if you want to come on alongside him, let's do it. The week after that, we've got, we talked a little bit about this in the last preseason game. Young Vaught, along with his cousin Reggio De Niro, will be on at the same time. We'll be able to talk to them. I think that is April 13th, so 2 weeks from tonight. We'll be able to interview them as well. Oh yeah, I'm excited though. We're 3 weeks away. We've got the portal was released as well this week for the minor league players. That was a pretty huge hurdle to. I remember when progression was starting, they were hoping like that first week, second week to get it done. I think there's a lot more development that needed to happen to make it come to fruition. It is finally here. The pros got it last July or so. So really excited to see the minors take full use out of that. And it's going to be a huge plus for us coaches to be able to simply download the rosters and everything, and you can see your team, you can see how other teams are matching up against you, that kind of thing. So Daniel, what are you excited about most as we're getting closer and closer to kickoff? Is there anything that you're like, oh, this is really cool?
Minor leagues or just overall? So I'll give one for both, I guess.
Sure.
How about that? So for minor leagues, I'm excited to see what old faces show up to scout the new faces, because there's going to be a lot more people looking at the minor leagues. A lot of people are going to look at quarterback spots, going to look at other spots. So we don't know who are the owners to the expansion teams per se. So I'm looking for a lot of new old faces coming in to watch the minor league games that previously they might have not done. And with the draft being so big last season, I think it's going to top it this season with the way things are going. So that's going to be exciting to do. As for overall, I want to see the 4 expansion teams. That's the thing I'm the most excited for. I want to see who the 4 bids are, and I want to see how this takes up free agency and things moving forward. Because we don't even know conferences at this point, right? Because there's 4 teams. We could have a 7th conference, or they could switch it right up. Teams go in different places now, make different conferences. We don't know any details.
Yep.
I'm excited to hear more.
And I coming in for having been here just a little over a year myself. I came in and there was the divisions, like you were saying conferences, but I think they turned the terms as divisions. Before, I don't know if it was season 15 or 14, they actually did have 2 conferences, I believe, that were almost like the NFL. In that way, they then switched it up to divisions and are using that as their method. And there's been, if anybody's been checking out the general chat, which I suggest you do, not just observe it, but try to find ways to engage in there. I think there's a lot of fun. It goes a long way towards sort of helping to make a name for yourself, get yourself out there. But there's been a lot of chatter and conversations about what that means for the conferences, and there's been like people drawing maps and like circling certain areas and how the teams might be divided next season. Nathaniel, is there anything that you're really excited about coming up? Whether that's for the minor leagues or the pros, or for yourself or your team, or personally, whatever.
Personally, I'm excited to see Madison get back on the field. In general, for the minors, I'm excited to see who takes advantage of the opportunities that are presenting themselves. Like I said, the 4 horsemen are gone, except for Square Bush, who's going to step up, who's going to be the next big name, be the one to make plays at wide receiver. How's this quarterback going to go? And like I said, even it opening up the opportunity for new people. How many times do we hear in an interview, did you want to make a halfback, or was that the only position available? Or did you want to make that? Somebody can actually make the player they wanted to make to begin with. So that's exciting for me. I want to see that. And for the pros, I'm also excited about who the teams are going to be that's picked. If there's going to be a surprise one thrown out there, and not only just that, but the new opportunities for people to step up and take a job somewhere. Who's going where? Who's doing what? It's going to be an exciting end of the season and beginning of the season for both.
That's awesome. I agree. I'm excited about I'm excited for the minor league players to get hungry and get after some of those spots. And if it's not, for those that are then moving up into coordinating spots, there's scouting spots that are opening up then, or stat spots or other things that come on in, make a name for yourself, raise your hand and say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to learn, kind of thing. I think that's going to be really huge for them. I'm really excited about that. Let's see. I'm excited just to have this camaraderie and to have even more people. So what is it? There's 90 some new players. So these are non two-way players coming in now in the minor league. That is a huge community, and I'm really excited about that. I'm excited that as soon as that first week kickoff it happens, and people are like, do you know what? If I can sign up right now and I can get on the field in the next week, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be huge to boost even more of the players coming in for that as well. So I'm just excited to see this thing grow. I'm excited to have good, awesome conversations with two of you two, with people that are here watching, and everybody else in the Gen chat, in the SFLM Gen chat, in our server. I enjoy the people part of it. So I think that really wraps up. Unless either of you have any last words or anything you'd like to say tonight.
Owners, looking right now, look at the Minnesota Legends when they do their bid. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
It was good. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Appreciate it. So yeah, with that, then I think that's our show. Sorry if it's a little bit shorter, but we'll give you a little bit more time tonight. If there's topics you want to learn more about, I think we mentioned this before. Daniel and I might be doing a little back and forth screen share kind of thing, helping him install the emulator, right? So that you can get it up and running on your computer.
You gave it to me before the season started for pros, and I haven't even installed it. So this will be an exciting venue for me to see where we're going on this. And it's for everybody that may want to scout in the future, right? This is how you do it. This is the best way to do it. You can look at games this way. You can play games this way. So if you want to go to a coordinator spot, this is the way to do it. And I'm going to be brand new to this, so I'll be your eyes, I guess, for this one.
Cool. Yeah. So that should be fun. If there's other topics that you guys are heated about, want to find out about, drop it to us in the suggestions channel over in our server. Nathaniel, do you have something?
You forgot something.
Uh-oh.
Forgot something. All this talk about excitement, all this talk about everything. The second season of Minor Fights and Insights really taking off. Got it going again.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Honestly, the followers have been inching up. I want to say I think it's been really successful having the preseason games. I think people are really latched onto that. I think that's really excited instead of simply joining in January and then having to wait until the end of April to see your player out of the field. That's a long time. So I think people are wanting to tune into those. So it's been, the reception for them has been really great. We've got one coming up, not this Friday, but next Friday, the 8th, April 8th. That one is our final one before the season officially starts.
And we better get Derek on that. He better be well enough to do it. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Are you working another minor, like a all pro minor game again?
Yes.
For doing something like that?
Whether we get approved or not, unless they disapprove it, I'm going to run forward with it just like we did last year. I don't know exactly what time frame, but yeah, last year it was probably around week 4 or so. We had a bye week the commissioner got married, and so there was no games on a weekend. And so we decided, hey, we're going to use that time spot and we're going to run a what we call the Prospect Bowl, sort of like a Pro Bowl, voted in by the community, who is going to be, from across. We divided up the teams into East and West sort of conferences, pitted them together. Definitely want to explore doing something like that in the future. Again, I don't know exactly at what point. Maybe it's that week 4, week 5, week 6 time, before we get to playoffs would be a fun time. Give people enough time to get out on the field. Definitely, that's and if you want to help out with the show, there's a variety of things with all these things that we have wanting to do. There's hardly any. We don't have enough hands to do it all. So if you want to help out, please do. What else? There was something else. Oh, I want to look at getting, Daniel is a big game player. I had mentioned that I love doing like trivia. There's a thing that my wife is a elementary school teacher, and they use like a online quiz kind of thing, Caboodle or Kahoot, I think is what it's called. It'd be fun. I want to put together like a Kahoot trivia quiz kind of thing that everybody in the viewers, that we can have like a little half show quiz game, and we can pair up or play, and we can see who might win, or who might know the most information about the SFL or the minor leagues, or about, we can sort of test you all on your knowledge of things around attributes or other things. So it might be a little fun trivia aspect during the show as another option as well. And I occasionally have family coming on the show too. They sometimes like to call in. So don't be surprised if I get a call from my grandfather again. So, all right. All right. Let's, yeah, that's a lot of stuff to look forward to. We're just starting. We are now set episode 2. Thanks, Nathaniel, for calling that out. We are officially rolling this ball down the hill, and it's going to pick up speed. So excited about that. All right. Tell people to get in and pick their. Yes, Ethan, go pick your spot. Go pick your prediction. What's your prediction for the winner? Do that on the Discord. I'm going to pop that in here right now. If you're not already a member, you can go sign up there. All right. Anyways, with that pretty much will sum up our episode tonight. Next week, we will take a look at 3 more teams. We're going to probably just go down the list of preseason games. So we've already done 3. We're going to do Lincoln, Annapolis, and Madison next week. We'll take a look at those 3 teams, and then we'll wrap up the week after with the final 2 teams that are playing in about a week and a half. So, all right. I want to give you the floor to Daniel, Nathaniel, the 2 ills. The end of your names, are similar. Anyways, any last words? Any final words?
I guess I'll start.
Thank you.
I'll start with this one, I guess. I'm excited right now to see what is going. SFL is going upwards. Things are happening so fast in the minor leagues and in the pros. I'm just super excited where this all goes to, and we're getting more people each and every week. And that's the big thing to take from this. The community's growing, friendships are growing, and if you want to really have a good time, check out the convention. Even if you're in the minor leagues, check out the convention and potentially book your way to go to have some fun and meet some friends.
I just want to say, the same thing. I'm excited about it. It's really exploded since even me joining not long ago. And like he was saying, I'm actually bummed. I don't think I'll be able to make it to the convention because I've already built friendships. There's some amazing people in this league. AJ, Eddie Gage, a lot of the coaches, Coach Comsack. There's a lot of them. You guys, um, and even other players. You build relationships not just on your team but within the Discord, and everybody's been nice here. They reach out a helping hand if you're confused on something or need help with anything, and I love that. This is the first league I've been in where it's actually been anywhere close to being like that, and it takes it to a next level. And again, thank you guys both for having me back on here for another season. Uh, I look forward to a lot more times on here, and it's always a blast talking to both of you. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Appreciate your perspective and the information you bring and just the energy that you have. So appreciate it. Thank you so much, Daniel. Or Nathaniel, your last name and first name sort of merged in there. Nathaniel Diggs. Daniel Wright. Thank you both for joining me tonight. Thank you all for the viewers that are here joining me, whether that's live or in the VOD or on the recording in YouTube. Thanks. Appreciate you spending roughly an hour or so with us. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having another chat with you in about 7 days. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
See you later, guys.